Floppa, the unit that caused an outrage in the pro leaderboard player community of All-Star Tower Defense. A unit that gave hundreds of millions of money upon the start of a game and made completing any mode insanely easy. This unit was given to moderators of astd by the owner that goes by the name of Fruit Jaeger. Initially, Floppa was just made to test out the attack effects and see if it would lag people out of the game. Until one day, a certain mod had other plans for this unit. For those of you who aren't familiar with the leaderboard community, let me give you some of the history behind this leaderboard rivalry and how it all originated. It all started with some pro Brazilian players that go by the names of Xeem, Raptor, Hydro, Lucas, and Big Head Gamer, but that's just naming a few of them. These players ran the leaderboards for quite some time, making it near impossible for the average player to get a placement and get their favorite leaderboard unit. You may have even seen these names on the leaderboards if you've played astd in the past. These same Brazilian players were later caught using scripts to have an advantage on the leaderboards, as their scripts had auto time stopping and auto buffing before they were later added as features in astd. These Brazilians even used multiple accounts, also known as alts, to gain tons of value each month when the leaderboards reset. One day, I was messaged by some Brazilian players and they mentioned how Xeem wanted to run leaderboards with me, and that's how the Wave 98 video that some of you remember was made. I had no knowledge of any pro players and I was pretty much new to the leaderboards at the time. Following the creation of the Wave 98 video, a pro player by the name of Blue Marine also messaged me claiming that Xeem wasn't the only pro time stopper, and that he was on their level without the need of scripting. Blue didn't like the fact that the Brazilian pros were dominating the leaderboard so easily with just the help of scripts. Initially, I just brushed it off because I had no idea what Blue was talking about, so I just congratulated Blue on his skills and went on with creating astd content. This was the beginning of a new friendship between pros that would later dominate the leaderboards together. As time went on, I eventually started doing leaderboard runs with Blue and his group of friends. This group included pros like MTP, Arcs, Netsfin, Moyai, Benoit, Steven, Kinglet, and more. You guys probably never heard of those names before, but I'll explain it later. Drama between the Brazilians got even worse, including things such as doxing, black market accusing, face revealing, and even more. This even caused King Luffy to get involved, but that's a story for a different video in the future. astd was growing worse and worse as it continued to update, with the developers making so many heavily grind-based updates, which demotivated a lot of players from continuing forward with the game. With the addition of 7 stars, this forced the average player to find people to grind with for longer than 8 hours per 7-star unit. Even me as a content creator with every single unit in the game, I can't stand grinding for 7 stars, even I have trouble with this sometimes. There was even an update where it introduced leaderboard bans, which meant you can only place on a leaderboard once every 2 months. And this feature was put into place because of obvious reasons, the Brazilians filling every single leaderboard with alt accounts. So eventually, these factors forced the Brazilians to give up on astd and just start scripting their way to the top of the level leaderboards. This meant the leaderboard rivalry had finally came to an end, at least for now, as Korean pro players began to start placing on the leaderboards in place of the Brazilians, causing a little competition between the Koreans and, well, I'll just call us the US team. The Korean team included players by the names of All-Star Owen, Ghoster Kung, Chi, Supreme Felipe, and more. There was a battle across the 4 leaderboards: regular, elemental, air, double path, and all were being filled by my team and the Korean team, nobody else. This caused a certain moderator to get upset, and he decided to step in and teach both pro teams a lesson. At the time of the Korean and US rivalry, the highest wave was wave 120, a video that took me ages to come up with a strategy for. We had many fails and attempts during this time because of how tough it was to execute with skip limit.
Lord, I beg. I'll do anything. I'll do anything. Please.
Bro, what's the secret
Please.
pathway?
Whoa!
Yes!
Oh! Oh! We got 120! We got 120! Wait! Wait, did it show? Wait!
Wait, where's 120?
We spent thousands upon thousands of Robux on 3 times speed, because at the time of this rivalry, 3 times speed wasn't a game pass. It was a one-time purchase of 80 Robux per game, and that took a toll on my pockets because that included Yugi cells, your teammate bringing the wrong loadout, or even your teammate forgetting to slow a cloner or something. We then later found out that 3 times speed was pay to win to get the fastest time, also known as the higher placement on the leaderboard. But once my team and I came up with the perfect strategy, we replicated it multiple times and filled the leaderboards to prove we were better than the Koreans that would trash talk us. Of course, not the Koreans that I named specifically, because I wouldn't put their names out there like that. Eventually though, one group of Koreans passed us using the 3 times speed faster time glitch. But at the time, that was the least of our worries. Now that there was 1 day left on the leaderboard, the moderator that I keep mentioning had finally decided to strike. Out of nowhere, with a few hours left on the leaderboard, a random unknown team of players appeared in the top spots of the leaderboard. This caused a huge panic between everyone who worked hard to get on the leaderboard, considering how much time and money we all spent towards it. Even the rivalry with the Koreans between us had stopped because of how we were all confused. We had no idea what to do, and we had no idea who these players were, as they had never placed on the leaderboard beforehand. My friends and I quickly did some investigating and found that the accounts were literally made that same day, and that there was no way possible they got all of the meta units in less than a day. As I mentioned before, it takes approximately 8 hours to grind each 7-star unit. Even if you speedran everything, it would take you approximately 3 to 4 hours. And that's not to mention the fact that the 7-star units have to all be in the Stardust banner at the same time, which they weren't at the time. This drew even more suspicions that they were either hacking or abusing some kind of insane bug. But at the time, there was no known bug insane enough to carry an account that was made that same day. As time went on, the 3 hours remaining on the leaderboard felt like days, as more and more alt accounts with troll names kept filling up the leaderboard slowly. We continued investigating, and eventually, he pinpointed that some of the aged accounts on the leaderboards alongside those alts were friends with the mod, presumably the mod behind all of this. And that mod goes by the name of Xeem. As suspicions arose from the Koreans and the US team, the leaderboards were slowly being filled up by alts as the leaderboards were about to reset. My friends and I went through every single unit we could think of inside of training mode so we could find this game-breaking bug that was causing all of this to happen. We also had screenshots come up out of nowhere of mods being in the same server as the people on the leaderboards. So we just assumed it had to have been mods, and they were most likely abusing something we didn't know about. Then it finally hit us. We remembered the time that the moderator that goes by the name of Navy X Flame had revealed to us some kind of secret unit. The Floppa. It was the only thing we could think of because we remembered it giving a crazy amount of money per wave. Eventually, everyone including the Koreans had all been kicked off of the leaderboard, and we all had to sit in an hour of despair as we watched our hard work and all of our Robux go straight to waste. Once this had all finished going down, the accounts were never seen online again, and we all had immediately questioned the mod Navy, as he was for sure to know what was happening behind the scenes. But of course, Navy claimed that it was just a bug and someone was probably carrying all of those alts to the leaderboards. None of us were buying a single thing Navy was telling us, but to this day, I'm not sure if Navy knew that Xeem was abusing Floppa and just blatantly lied to us, or if Xeem was abusing it behind Navy's back and Navy genuinely had no idea. Either way, it was pretty messed up for Xeem to do that, whether he disliked the players or not. Later on that week, Navy came to tell us that it was a bug with Baki, and that Baki had negative SPA and infinite damage when using Yoshikage Kira's reset ability, and so they had fixed it just then. Again, none of us really bought any of this because we tested it ourselves beforehand, and it didn't work. Navy had also told us that Xeem was punished for his actions and that they had nerfed Floppa, but later on we found out that Xeem was not even punished, and all they did was just nerf Floppa. Navy then went on to give all of the players who got kicked a Toby leaderboard unit, which me personally, I assumed it was just Xeem's Tobies that he got from his ults, but I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Who do you guys think is the villain in this situation? Do you think the actions of Xeem were justifiable and that the leaderboard players should have let other people have a chance at the leaderboard? Or do you think it was just flat out wrong for Xeem to abuse his mod powers and kick all of these leaderboard players? What would you guys have done in this situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me know if you enjoyed this short Floppa story. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you all enjoyed.